Key takeaways on Day 12 of Trump's hush money trial. The fourth week of the trial began with a fine and a jail threat against Trump. Hello and welcome back to the News Media Hands channel. In Donald Trump's hush money trial, prosecutors delved into the crucial paper trail on Monday. They disclosed to the jurors the precise details of how Michael Cohen was reimbursed by Trump's trust and personal accounts in 2017 after he paid hush money to Stormy Daniels. Let's dive deeper into the key takeaways from today's testimonies. We would like to hear your opinion on the defense's strategy. As always, remember that we value your comments and feedback, and your subscriptions help grow the channel. Thank you for your support, and let's get started. Prosecutors were able to focus on the 34 counts of falsified business records due to the testimony of two longtime Trump Organization employees who worked on the repayments to Cohen in 2017. However, Judge Juan Merchan warned that he would jail Trump if he violated the gag order in the case. The New York District Attorney's Office estimated that they have about 2 weeks left of testimony in their case, which they hinted at during the end of the day on Monday. Here are the takeaways from Day 12 of the Trump hush money trial. Judge threatens to jail Trump. On Monday, Judge Merchan announced that he found former President Donald Trump in contempt of court for violating his gag order for the 10th time. Last week, the judge had already fined him for 9 other violations cited by prosecutors, with each violation carrying a $1,000 fine, the maximum allowed under New York law. Although the judge only fined Trump for 1 violation on Monday, he issued a stern warning, stating that he would put Trump in jail if he continued to violate the order. Merchan told Trump, "Mr. Trump, it's important to understand that the last thing I want to do is to put you in jail." The judge further said that he was aware of the broader implications of such a sanction. The magnitude of such a decision is not one-sided. But his job was to protect the dignity of the judicial system and compel respect. Your continued violations of this court's lawful order threaten to interfere with the administration of justice in constant attacks, which constitute a direct attack on the rule of law. I cannot allow that to continue, said Merchan. As much as I do not want to impose a jail sanction, and I have done everything I can to avoid doing so, I want you to understand that I will, if necessary and appropriate. As Merchan spoke, Trump shook his head in disagreement when the judge's order was provided in paper form. A gag order has been issued that prohibits Trump from making comments about witnesses, court staff, or the jury. As of now, there are no additional accusations against Trump for violating the gag order after the second hearing in front of the judge. However, if prosecutors find a violation, Merchan will have to make a significant decision before the end of the trial. How did the checks end up with Cohen? The 2 witnesses who testified on Monday explained how Cohen, Trump's former attorney, was reimbursed for the $130,000 paid to Daniels. According to Jeffrey McConney, the former controller of the Trump Organization, he had very little interaction with Cohen during his tenure at the company. However, McConney claims that Alan Weisselberg, the former chief financial officer of the company, asked him to send money to Cohen in early 2017. Prior to this request, Cohen had taken out a home equity line of credit in order to purchase the story of adult film actress Stormy Daniels, who alleged that she had a sexual encounter with Trump in 2006. According to Monday's testimony, Cohen received repayment during Trump's first year as president through 11 checks that were recorded as part of a retainer agreement. These checks were labeled legal expenses in the Trump Organization's records and were allegedly made in exchange for Cohen's services as Trump's attorney. When asked about Cohen's position in the Trump Organization, McConney responded by saying, he claimed to be a lawyer. The charges against Trump pertain to 3 types of records: invoices, checks and check stubs, and ledger entries for Trump's personal bank account and the Donald J. Trump Revocable Trust. McConney confirmed the authenticity of invoices that indicated payments made to Cohen. He explained that these payments were falsely categorized as legal services. Following McConney's testimony, Deborah Tarasoff, an accounts payable supervisor who had worked with McConney at the Trump Organization, took the stand and verified each check, check stub, and general ledger entry. She then linked them to the corresponding invoice. Tarasoff, a 24-year veteran of the Trump Organization and the first current employee to take the stand, stated that the company operates much like a family business. In court, a check for $70,000 was presented as evidence of the alleged scheme. The payment was made to Cohen for the months of January and February 2017 and was described as a retainer. One payment was signed by Eric Trump, while the other was signed by Weisselberg. The payments were issued from the Revocable Trust and a later payment was made from the former president's personal bank account. According to Tarasoff, Weisselberg, McConney, Donald Trump, and the legal department were authorized to approve expenses. However, expenses exceeding $10,000 required approval from Donald Trump, Donald Trump Jr. or Eric Trump. To receive a reimbursement, an invoice would be stapled to a check, which would then be brought to Trump's long-serving executive assistant, Rona Graff, for the president's signature. Only Donald Trump was authorized to approve a payment from his personal account, and his signature was the final say on the matter. If Trump didn't want to authorize a payment, he could simply write void on the check with a black Sharpie and send it back. The total amount of payments to Michael Cohen was $420,000, which included payments for hush money reimbursements, Cohen's yearly bonus, and additional funds to cover taxes on the payments. McConney explains Cohen's $420,000 reimbursement. Jurors were presented with handwritten notes written by former CFO of Trump Organization, Alan Weisselberg and McConney in January 2017. The notes showed a calculation of a payment made to Cohen in the amount of $420,000. Weisselberg's calculations were done directly on a bank statement for Essential Consultants, Cohen's LLC, dated October 2016, and included a line item for the $130,000 wire transfer to Stormy Daniels' then lawyer, Davidson. This wire transfer was tied to the hush money settlement to the adult film star, to cover up an alleged affair between her and Trump. It should be noted that Trump denies the affair. McConney explained to the jury the calculations that included reimbursements for $50,000 in tech services and a $130,000 wire transfer that were grossed up to $360,000 to account for taxes on that money. The previous controller admitted that expense reimbursements were not considered taxable income, which means that accounting for it in the same way was not logical. The total amount of $420,000 included a $60,000 bonus for Cohen, which was to be paid to him in monthly installments of $35,000. McConney testified that he did not connect the $130,000 line item on the bank statement to the hush money deal. He claimed that he didn't know any details about the repayment plan to Cohen, but that Cohen needed to be reimbursed. During his testimony, McConney criticized Cohen a few times, which was consistent with the testimonies of several other trial witnesses. When asked if Cohen was a lawyer in 2017, McConney sarcastically replied sure and okay. On cross-examination, Trump's lawyer Emil Bove distanced Trump from the paper trail by confirming with McConney that he never spoke to Trump about the payment structure for Cohen's reimbursement. Trump's former accounting executive stated that he was not always present during the conversations between Trump and his ex-boss Weisselberg. He confirmed that he was occasionally asked to perform tasks without being informed about the details. It is worth noting that despite retiring last year after serving the Trump Organization for around 45 years, the company is still responsible for paying McConney's legal fees. Trump is focused on his business testimony. During much of the first 2 weeks of the trial, Trump often reclined in his chair, closed his eyes, and seemed to ignore discussions about the alleged affairs and the payments of hush money. On Monday, sitting at the defendant's table, he took a different pose. Trump was observed to be paying extra attention to the testimonies of McConney and Tarasov. Both of them had worked for Trump for several years, with Tarasov still being employed by the Trump Organization. Their testimonies primarily centered around Trump's business activities, which may have been a subject that Trump preferred to avoid. Trump jokingly told McConney you're fired after he turned in a report where his cash balances were down. He said, "No, focus on my bills. Negotiate my bills. Look at my bills." It was a teaching moment, McConney described. During Tarasov's testimony, Trump turned to watch as his attorney cross-examined the Trump Org. Accounts payable employee Blanche, the attorney, explained that the Trump Org was like a family-run business. Eric Trump, who still oversees the Trump Org, and attorney Alina Habba, who represented employees of the organization in last year's civil fraud trial, including McConney, were present in court on Monday. When Tarasov returned to the witness stand on Monday afternoon, she gave Eric Trump a friendly tap on the knee as she walked past. "The Hans geniuses, we want to hear from you. Tell us in the comments section, after hearing the key takeaways from Day 12 and Hope Hicks' testimony on Day 11, do you believe Trump's defense that he paid $130,000 to protect his marriage and wife from these alleged affairs?" Thanks for watching. If you like it, comment and hit the like and share buttons. Subscribe for future videos.